of the church, how would you spend the money? It can be easy to think about giving and being sacrificial in that way, but sometimes when it comes to how we spend the money, it actually might be a little bit more important, right? It's not about just how much we have, it's how are we spending it. And I know I have had to go through many different levels of faith in how to deal with money in the church. And this is one scripture that talks about not only in our giving, but how we should, perceive how we spend this money as well. 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6, it says, "Remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously." Out in Samoa, it's been awesome to see the effects of many ways that people have given and what that has done in Samoa. Over the past couple of months, you've seen that they have financed buying a van for the church and for Mercy out there. And so literally that enabled the church every single day to host a Bible discussion and an event for people to come and understand the Bible and to still get a ride home because buses and mass transit doesn't continue to go after 5 p.m. So automatically that's done something. Then we have the Mercy venue, which is just awesome and amazing. Every single day, the disciples and the Christians pour there, and there's always just this vibe of every single day people are growing in their faith. But we can't afford either of those. We cannot. I am now taking over the budget, and I see how challenging this is on the pocket in one sense or another. But it reminds me of this scripture, because I think sometimes if you put yourself in that perspective of you're running the budget now, we might in one way think we're doing a smart thing to now become close-fisted in the church. In the sense that you're running the budget, you're like, I'm a bit scared to spend too much money now because we got to make sure we can make it to next budget. We got to do all these different things. But in the same way, you're now sowing sparingly. When I look at it, now the church budget in Samoa, it's not that we can't afford the van or the venue in a budget way. I look at it very differently. We can't afford not to have it because of the growing of the faith. It's in the church, we are always going to be catching up to God's dream. Always. We should always almost quote-unquote be spending too much money because the world needs it. And so if you view it that way and how we spend money in the church, it's not so we can, it's not a business, we're not trying to just make it by or anything like that. We're actually financing God's dream, and God dreams big. He 100% dreams big. And so when you give today, I want you to have that perspective that your giving is not just going towards the minuscule small things, as your giving is financing God's dream. And we're always going to be catching up to that. So I want to encourage you in your heart as you give, always give generously because God will give generously as well. Let's go to God in order.